What's up, mercenaries? Morgan Mercy here, the heavy metal maiden, and you are listening to Drinkin' at Moe's.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome Drinking at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. You too, like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good shit, because YouTube's algorithm is a pain in the ass. Where most places you can find audio podcasts too. Today, I'm excited to have with me Morgan Mercy. How you doing?
What's up? Glad to be here. Glad to make this make my presence known. Make it a little more metal, I see you got the aluminum cans happening. You knew I was coming. You made sure to have metal, no glass, no soft sounds.
No, don't want that. But yeah,
no
cans. I even got some cans with my collection stuff back here, including
I've seen a couple of them up there.
In my Stone Cold section, I had to get broken skull.
I wasn't sure if that was just the stuff that hadn't made it to the recycling yet.
And then behind me here, this isn't heavy metal.
Cool.
This isn't heavy metal, but
we'll allow it.
I went to a Dierks Bentley concert thinking, I'm just going to see how close I can get since it was all general admission. I ended up a couple people from the stage, and before I know it, he's pointing at me after he's asking where his beer drinkers are at. And I was thinking, he ain't pointing at me. Before I know it, he's helping the security guys pull me over the barricade, and I'm shotgunning a beer on stage with him. I still got the can. Hole and everything.
I love that. That's super cool. I back on my shelf back here, I've got a piece. So long story short, I was at Tables, Ladders, Chairs 2016 here in Dallas, and Dean Ambrose John Moxley went through a bunch of tables that night. And, I kind of rizzed my way into the security guy, and he was like, I was like, give me a piece of this table, please. I will do anything. I'll give you $20. And he snatched me like a really good sized chunk of this table. So I think I'm the only one that has a piece of that table. Nice. It's the small things, the little anchor memories,
little mementos.
For sure.
I've yet to make it to the pay-per-view myself. That's still on my bucket list.
It's funny.
Here in Omaha.
Oh yeah, they don't get that way too often. I think probably the closest would be like Kansas City.
Yeah, for pay-per-views, yeah. For Raws and SmackDowns, it seems like once or twice a year for Raw or SmackDown. But the last time
they're coming through Texas all the time.
Oh yeah, last time they did a pay-per-view here was way back in 2008.
Oh wow, that's crazy. What pay-per-view was it?
Oh God, I'm wanting to say Judgment Day, actually.
Okay.
Because I know
it's an interesting choice for Judgment Day.
I'm pretty certain one of the big matches was Triple H versus Randy Orton in a cage.
Okay. So, I mean, that could be any time over the past 20 years.
Yeah. I remember the year specifically because it was right before I left for Navy boot camp.
Ah, okay.
and I
Good to
wanted to
know
go,
that
but it
you have a little
sold out
anchor.
before I could. Yeah.
See, I mean, you like you said yourself, they only come around once or twice a year. So when they do come around, everybody snatches it up pretty quick. I get that.
Oh yeah. Hell, I know they're coming back around for SmackDown. It got announced July 19th, and I'm like telling people, "Ooh, literally a week after my birthday."
Hmm. Hmm.
I literally
Hint,
posted,
hint, wink, wink.
oh, I literally posted, if anybody's thinking of what to get me for my birthday, I take a size this.
Just the building.
Just get me a ticket to that.
Oh, for sure.
I
About
mean,
this
yeah.
size. That's what I need.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Paper,
if I
numbers
knew
on it.
somebody that would be able to buy me the building, I mean, shit.
What a great birthday that would be.
Oh yeah, that
Nobody's ever
would
bought
be.
you a building? Come on.
No,
There's first
nobody's
time
ever.
for everything.
Yeah, there's a first time
Yeah.
for everything. I mean, I would be making sure the big shit got brought in. I'm telling you, that is just my. That's like I know it's never gonna happen, but wishful dreaming. But first thing I like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you deciding to finally make that leap into the business.
All right. So, story time. So I was a kid, and I'm going to date myself here. Say it was around 2003. Actually, I know it was 2003. It was an episode of Raw that me and my friend had stumbled across, and it was like a week after they unmasked Kane.
Ooh, that was
And he had just set JR on fire. It was like a whole thing. And that and Evolution was starting to form. That hooked me from then. And then I watched for a few years until all the Benoit stuff happened, kind of fell out as a fan, but came back into uh, knowing and like loving wrestling. Oh gosh, like almost a decade ago. So about 2015. And then I've just been hooked on it ever since, right? Then 2020, the pandemic happened. I'm working my desk job, and I'm like, man, I really can't stand this desk job life. I want something more. I want something different. And I'd always wanted to be a wrestler. Never really made that leap to kind of crossing that threshold, as it were. And I had an acquaintance who's an indie wrestler around here. Her name was Alabama. She's since retired. Uh, and I'm gonna bring her out of retirement though. I want one match with her because she retired before I was finished with my training. Uh, but I digress. But she had mentioned where she was training at the time, Metroplex Wrestling in Bedford, Texas, here in Dallas. Great school if you're looking for a school. That's the one I recommend.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and the rest is kind of history. Like it was just kind of on a whim that I was like, hey, how would one get into wrestling if they were interested? And we kind of talked about it, and she kind of pushed me in that direction. So I credit her with any kind of career that I have. Um, and yeah, it's just kind of been a ride ever since.
That's awesome. Like I know for me, I didn't really get started watching independent wrestling until I was like in Southern California with the Navy. I just Googled pro wrestling in San Diego and then off to the races. But
Hell yeah.
it's always been a thought in my mind, but after I hurt my back in the Navy and then tried to do a pro wrestling boot camp one time because I'm like, this is going to be too much fun. And then I was walking funny for about a week after. I'm like, maybe my way into the business is some other direction besides that.
For sure. It's definitely a toll on your body. I mean, there's never a day that I'm feeling like totally 100%. Something's always hurting, but that's just kind of part of it. That's kind of
Yeah.
just part of the experience. That's part of being a wrestler. That's why I
Oh,
hate when people say that wrestling is fake or
oh
whatever.
God. Yeah.
Uh, because like that. It's just it's the wrong terminology. What we do is
Yeah.
very, very real. What we
Oh yeah.
do is a sport. What we do is athleticism, and it's just interesting. I'm glad you did a boot camp so that you kind of know. I'm sure you took a bump and
Oh
did
yeah.
all that stuff.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Ran the ropes,
first
did the
few
bump.
bumps, the ropes. People don't think about how hard those ropes are. That's
Oh
like
yeah.
that's a steel cable under there. At least in most rings, that's
Oh
a
yeah.
steel cable under there. So that's not kind to your body. I had welts the first couple of times I ran the ropes.
Yeah. I was a little hesitant at first, but then I got to going and I just got running, and that bump, yeah, those bumps was like, again, like you, I don't like when people use the term fake when it comes to pro wrestling, because it's like I literally just did a boot camp and
Mm-hmm.
I could tell that, like, oh god, yeah, even a simple fall in here, ouch.
Oh yeah, there's bumping is an art form. It's uh I I could go on. I like teaching bumping. I'm weird like that. Because it's just so important and it's so core to everything that we do. But yeah, those they always say that bumps are like being in a 20-mile-an-hour car crash, I
Mm,
believe it is.
yeah,
And
something like that,
like
yeah.
that's the stress or like the impact on your body. Um and I've never, thankfully, been in a car crash, but I know friends that have, and
I
they've
have.
said, "No, I thought that was a joke. It's absolutely true."
Oh,
So that's
I can.
good knowledge.
Yep, I can verify. I Luckily it was on the passenger side, but yeah, they sent me spinning to the point where the cops, when they got there, thought I was going the other direction.
Amazing.
And like, I had to point after I got out of my confusion. I'm like, no, I came from over there. And they looked at me like, what the yeah. So I can
Yeah,
verify the whole thing with the car crash. If that's what taking bumps feels like, yeah.
yeah, and then I'll picture, 10, 15 of those every night for,
Yeah.
years.
Oh
It
yeah.
weighs on you.
Oh, I can
Bump card's
only.
very real.
Oh yeah. I hear a lot of my friends talking about their bump cards and some saying, yeah, mine's pretty much filled out.
That's why you don't bump unless you got it.
Yep. And talking about MPX, I've been lucky enough to have well, I've had one of the people on from that has helped running it, and I've actually met the other. I've actually had Matthew Palmer on a
Oh, I
while back.
love Matthew.
Oh
Matthew, I
yeah.
call him Paul. He's one of my trainers, so
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I know him very well.
And I've ran into him all but this last Revolver show, because obviously we'll go into it here in a little bit, but they had a pretty big freaking show that same night, which I've been
Mhm.
hearing loads of good things. I look forward to getting to see matches when they become available. But Athena, I actually got to meet her when my friends at Warrior Wrestling out of Chicago had a stop in St. Louis, and they invited my podcast down to be a part of the fan fest. So I got to meet
Very cool.
her, and I got to meet. Had a mini episode with Bronson Reed.
Hell yeah.
He faced off against Jeff Cobb that night.
That's a lot of beef.
Yeah,
We call that a butcher shop. That's a lot of beef.
though, yeah, we called it the Hoss fight to end all Hoss fights,
That's pretty hossy.
and it was pretty much that. Like, I could literally see
That's hot and
individual.
nasty.
Oh God, little literally getting
Hoss.
to see
Hoss and nasty.
individual beads of sweat flying off of them as they were chopping each
Love
other.
that.
Oh God,
Big meaty men slapping meat.
yes. Hell, they're even trying to get. Speaking of Bronson Reed, he's even trying to get meaty men match into WrestleMania. We'll see if that happens.
Let's go.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it though. But yeah, she when I got to meet Athena, that was rather interesting because there at Warrior, she was having a little bit of a feud with Frank the Clown and some of his minions. And like
Amazing.
she came in, started walking directly towards him, and you could just I was on the other side of the room and you can literally hear him scream and run off. It
I
was
mean,
hilarious.
she's terrible. Listen. I've trained with her for almost 3 years now. That's real. She's scary.
Oh, I
She may not. I may be big, but like I'm scared of her. Like she's behind me. I'm afraid of her. I
oh
don't mess
I
with
can
Athena
oh God, no. Want to be on her good side.
for sure. That's
Most
matter of fact. That's how I learned how to sell. Just
ah,
Athena beat my ass day
hey,
after
hey,
day,
how
and
it gets
eventually
the
you
job.
just kind of pick it up and figure it out.
Yeah. Hey, it gets the job done.
It does somehow, some way.
And I even got to be a part of a little prank on Frank the Clown at that very fan fest
Okay.
because he hadn't shown up yet. And they were trying to figure out where to put his name thing in the rows of tables. And I happened to be right near the corner where there's this like little cut off area, like right over
Mm-hmm.
there. There happened to be a trash can right there. So I said, how about right there, right in front of the
Mm,
trash?
beautiful.
And then he walked over and he was like, who the hell did this? I'm just sitting there like,
Yeah, definitely not you. Couldn't have been you.
no,
Could have been
not the new,
anybody else. No.
not the new guy, not the new guy. No, but yeah, that was a fun time. But MPX has been quickly becoming one of the big promotions that I've started to lose count of how many people from there I've had on. Like
Mm-hmm.
much like Matt Tremont's promotion H2O out of New Jersey, it's literally to the point where I've joked with some people, like, telling them, hey, if you feel inclined to put in a good word anywhere, I'm always looking for more people to talk to. And he's like, well, I will. Some guests will be like, well, I will try to find somebody you haven't talked to yet.
Yeah.
And some it's a little easier than others. But hey, I'm having fun with it. I actually have content coming out every single day of WrestleMania week.
Hell yeah.
And
Love to hear it.
I will still be good until damn near June.
Damn. So you mentioned people from MPX. Who'd you have on?
Oh, let's see. Gabe Wilder.
Love Gabe.
His comes out this week. I believe
Awesome.
Friday.
See, it's a little teaser. I like it.
I've had I've had both of the guys from Purple Haze on.
Okay.
And Prince Alexander, I've actually had him on by himself. So he's been on twice.
He's a fun guy.
Oh, yeah.
He
He's
was one
fun
of my
by
first
himself,
matches.
but you get them both together.
Oh,
It's a riot.
listen. I was there at that MPX show this past Saturday. The biggest show in MPX history at the Epic in Grand Prairie. It was awesome. It was crazy. It was so many people. Awesome matches. Great night. But we were tearing down after the show. And yeah, Stevie's just running around with like pieces of the ring pretending to be Tony Montana. And I don't know what it was. It was just like, yeah. I'm like, you know what? You're not wrong. It does look like a gun.
Then I've had Brick Savage.
I love Brick Savage.
Oh,
Terrifying. You talk about terrifying people.
oh, you want a terrifying individual that like be on the bad side of him? Mm-mm. Nope.
That being said, I would still fight Brick Savage any day of the week, any day ending in Y, holidays, weekends, overtime. I'd do it all. Listen, Morgan Mercy isn't afraid of anybody. Brick Savage especially.
Day. Well, all I know is I've seen his slam where he like basically looks like he's Hulk in the Avengers whipping around Loki.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, with Delenn.
Yeah, that, and I've seen power bombs from
Havens.
him look plain lethal.
Honestly, now I will say because I got a sore spot with this because Brick's a good friend of mine. Uh, that being said, I will still fight Brick any day of the week, ending in Y.
Hmm.
We've been through it.
Yeah.
Uh, but that so they went viral a while, a year, a couple years ago, for a power bomb, like a bunch of power bombs. And I will to this day defend that while it was excessive, they did not seem unsafe to me.
And I gather that about him, that like he knows how to make it look like
Well,
absolutely.
it's because he's an absolute like unit,
Yeah.
a behemoth of a human.
Yeah, no, most definitely. But
Like
he
makes me look small, which is listen, that's a feat. Like your girl is 6 foot, I'm over 200 pounds. Like I'm a I'm a big gal. I'm made of 2,000 pounds of heavy metal. Listen, Brick makes me look small.
yeah. He's definitely the type that, yeah, like I said, he makes stuff look intense, but he's not unsafe about it from everything that I've been able to see.
No, not at all.
So that's
Which
always
is
good, because you have some people out there that it just looks plain lethal because, well, they kind of go to the unsafe.
but I mean, that comes back to training and making sure that you are completing your training, you're getting good training, you're getting more training, you never stop training. Training is forever. Uh, and like you said with my trainer Athena, and I've been training for 4 years now. I still go every week. I'm still working on stuff. I'm still getting better. I'm still making myself a better wrestler and a better like ring ring general, as the phrase is used. Uh, and yeah, that process never stops.
Oh yeah, it's an ever evolving process. You always got new stuff to learn, new stuff to
Always
improve on. So
there,
yeah.
and I mean, Athena will say it herself. She's been in for however long, and she's still learning stuff. There's still stuff that she doesn't know, and she doesn't even ever claim to know everything. Don't tell her I said that. Because
I'm
let's be real,
hoping.
between the two of us, she knows everything.
Yeah, she is one that I would venture to guess is at least pretty damn close to it. But
Absolute workhorse, killing
oh,
it.
most to-
Which is why
like
I love training under her because
oh
she's so real. She takes wrestling so seriously because it absolutely should be taken seriously.
oh
It's
yeah,
an art form. It's a sport. Uh, and I just continue to learn so much from her.
oh yeah, and the work that she's doing with the Ring of Honor Women's Championship is like,
Absolutely.
man, she like, okay.
Talk about elevated.
Oh, totally. It's like she talks about being the forever champ, and like pretty much, because just look at her, like,
Who's gonna take it?
yeah, who's gonna take it from her?
I mean,
Because
while she is my trainer, she's also my trainer. So I know every in and out and everything in between that she knows. I know her move set. I have trained with her, like I said, for years. Like, let your girl Morgan Mercy get up there to Ring of Honor. We'll have a little chat.
oh yeah, and like she is, and the program that she's been doing with the likes of Billy Starks and others is like one of the main reasons I am kind of missing having Honor Club, because I being able to watch that every week. But
Huge endorsement
oh
for Honor Club.
oh god, yeah. And when I look back, my only thing that got me kind of, I had to cut back on some stuff, but it was, she seemed to be the only one of the champs that was there consistently. So it was like,
Hmm.
I got to the
Like I
point where
said,
it's like,
workhorse.
oh, totally. And I got to the point where I was just like, you know what? If I'm having to look at something to cut back on, why would I pay for a Ring of Honor when I can see all the champions on the other show and not have to pay
Fair
for?
question.
So I don't know. I'm hoping that they've done great with her. So I am just
Absolutely.
absolutely looking forward to it. I know the match that she had with Nyla Rose recently was pretty epic.
Super dope.
Now we talked, MPX and how they had the big show Destiny. What was it like for you and like being there for all of it?
Uh, just to be able to experience that moment with like my home promotion, uh, even even if I weren't in the ring that night, just being there and being able to support my MPX family, it was awesome. It was awesome seeing everybody have these huge moments, these awesome matches. The fans love it. The fans that have been coming for years. It was awesome. It was great. It's a good time.
Oh yeah.
Now, with that
And
being said, the next time that there's an MPX show in such a venue, I'm gonna do everything I can to get on that card because my girl Hilda, my girl Hilda and we've got history. Last year at Destiny, where her and Abaddon tagged
mm,
against MJ Santana and I. My first ever main event on a show was with Hilda, and we main evented an MPX show. Matter of fact, and now that she's the women's champion of MPX, I think it's time for Morgan Mercy to start thinking about coming home. Start
mm.
kind of stalking like the alleyways and the dark corners, just waiting for my chance at Hilda.
No, that would be something, kind of a full circle moment.
Absolutely.
And
She knows
getting
her
to,
days are numbered. She knows I'll
oh,
get there.
and then getting to, you do that the way you were describing, and it could literally be like little vignettes where it's like she's doing something. She could be training, she could just be out doing something random, but then you're always seeing you in the background, kind of just.
Hey, I'm
I,
hard to miss.
no, yeah, but I hate using the term stalking because
Hey,
it
but
could,
that's what it would be.
but it would be pretty much that.
Because
But
Because what does an apex predator do? They
they
don't just
stalk their
hunt for
prey.
their prey, they stalk their prey. They wait for the right opportunity. They know
No,
the right moment to strike when it's most lethal, when it's most
mm,
effective.
that is true, and you could really do something pretty epic. I got images in my head of it getting put together. I'm like, oh, I'm
Hey, if there's anything I know, it's being epic. It's being metal.
yeah.
It's no soft sounds. Come
Mm.
on. It's right there in the name. No mercy, baby.
Oh yeah, and MPX is also known as being like, oh, here comes my dog, but I let him walk. I let him, I leave the door open. Although sometimes I gotta watch my stand that my recording is on because he's a full grown English bulldog. So he he
Oh,
he
big
can be a bit of a
wrinkly
tank.
baby.
He can be a bit of a tank, but I love him to death. But
What's
MPX,
his name? What are his hobbies?
his name's Bentley, and he literally he's happy as hell just getting to, you feed him, give him some water, let him go outside, do his business, and then just let him nap on the couch.
That's what a life.
Oh yeah, I have to say, I tell him all the time that I'm jealous.
Mm-hmm. Tell him to pay rent.
But But yeah, I leave the door down here open just so in case he wants to come join me, he can.
A
Which
great
he,
little co-host.
oh yeah. But back to MPX, I know they're one of hell, I think one of the few in the country that do shows every single week, at least as far as a
Yeah.
independent show. I don't know of too many that do that.
I don't know how they do it. It's so much work just to put on one show. Thankfully, other than this past weekend, the shows happen in Bedford, Texas, and it's in a permanent location. Thankfully, I'm not, we're not trying to move that ring every week. Uh, but yeah, weekly shows, it's like it's been an awesome run too. Like it's been years that they've done shows every week with like a few breaks in between. And sometimes there's even other shows that'll run out of that building too. So
Mm,
it's kind of turned into this hot spot for wrestling.
I was gonna say, it sounds kind of familiar, not so much on the weekly level, but kind of sounds familiar to stuff like H2O does with their H2O Wrestling Center, where like WrestleMania week, they literally have a show not always with H2O, but with other promotions out of
Hmm.
their wrestling center every day of WrestleMania week.
For sure. I mean,
So
there's so much awesome wrestling in Texas just in general, but I mean,
holy
Dallas Fort Worth it's always been kind of this hotbed for wrestling and wrestlers and
Dallas.
wrestling fans. There's so many promotions in Dallas Fort Worth. I mean, not just MPX. Another promotion that I work with a lot is Matt War Pro in
Ah,
Fort Worth, Texas, and they're still in their infancy. They've only been running shows pretty much every other month for a little over a year now. And they already have this like hardcore dedicated fan base that are there at every show, and they love what they're doing and they love the product that they're putting out, and they're putting out this awesome big fight atmosphere. I love going out there. I've been working with APW, which is south of Fort Worth. Been normally working in like Cleburne, and Alvarado, those areas. If you're familiar with Texas, tiny
I
Texas towns.
somewhat
Uh,
familiar with Texas. I know when I was driving down to San Diego to with my
I would say you're
dad.
going the wrong way, brother.
What we did was we went Kansas down looped through Texas and went down to San Diego that way. What I
You
like my
said desert run.
oh god, yeah. Like I remember we stopped in what was it? Amarillo at the Big Texan.
Okay.
And we were
I've
there
never
and
been there, but I have been to Amarillo.
we ended up stopping at the Big Texan and seeing somebody actually doing that big steak challenge while
Oh,
we
is
were
that
there.
the 72-ounce steak place? I
Mm-hmm.
always see the billboards. I've never been.
Yeah,
Somebody
we
finished
were
it though?
um I'm I'm not sure. I'm one to say
I'm going to choose to believe that. I'm going to choose to believe they finished it. I
yeah,
need that in my heart of hearts.
yeah, I'm gonna believe that myself because I'm one to say I know one of the people came pretty close at least. So
You know what? Just give it to him. He's
yeah,
got two
we'll give it
bites
to him.
left. Just give it to him. Give him a
We'll give it
t-shirt
to him. Oh yeah.
and a bucket.
I've only ever done one food challenge myself, and that was the Blazing Wing Challenge at Buffalo Wild Wings.
I've thought about doing it. I listen, I'm a hot wing kind of gal. Shout out to my boy DL Hartley, one half of Meaty Metal. We bonded over hot wings, and it's kind of been our thing. But I've never gotten the chance to do the Blazing Challenge. I've always wanted to, but I know I'm gonna regret that. I know
Oh,
I'm gonna like I know I'm gonna think that I'm tougher than I am, as much as I hate to admit it. Uh, but I love hot wings. My wife and I got married in a Buffalo Wild Wings of all places.
nice.
Uh, Yeah, right. Isn't that great? Not that we had like a big wedding. It was more sign the paperwork in a
The
Buffalo
one,
Wild
one
Wings, but
one
hey,
of
it
those things.
counts.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
nothing wrong with that.
oh man, I've never. How was it? Did you finish it?
I finished it with about 45 seconds left. It was
Down to the
the
wire.
yeah. There was the College World Series here in Omaha. They had a setup for it right outside the stadium, and I was like, "Well, I got a little bit until my parking timer runs out. Let's sure, why not?"
Not the parking meter. You trying to beat the parking?
And well, I went, I did it, and like my throat was dry, so they had a. I got myself something to drink before, but I tell you what, somebody quit within like a wing and a half.
I mean, I hear
And
they're hot.
oh,
So, are
oh,
you surprised?
not really, no, especially with how things for me the way they ended, because man, they have you wait a little bit after to do to have some water. That way it's like, okay, you really finished it, you're not just gonna whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
that water could have been ice cold, but those peppers and stuff made it feel like it was coming out of a coffee pot.
No thanks.
And I
I like
literally,
having taste buds.
oh, I think I burnt off most of mine, because I kid you not, I didn't have any stuff to help with the burning on my hands because of the juices and stuff. I literally got home and put 2 bags of frozen hash browns on my hands, and my hands were still burning through the next morning.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's a lot of peppers on your straight up on your hands.
Oh God, yeah. And I told myself
But
that is the last spicy food challenge I ever do.
I would love to do a spicy food challenge. I I'm a little iffy on the blazing wings just because then I gotta ingest them and then my body has to deal with that. My body didn't sign up for that. I signed up for that.
Yeah.
But like I've always been a spicy food person. When I was a kid, my dad would make hot wings that I shit you not, they would absolutely burn through the foil that he would put over the top of them. They were that fucking hot. and
Wow.
yeah, so I've just always been like a spicy food person. Um, Back in like my party days, that was our sober up trick. Was at the It was the only place in town that was open after bar close. It was called El Rancho in El Rancho in Missouri. It's gonna not be great. uh, but yeah, we would sit there and just do shots of the hot sauce just in the lid, and that was our sober up trick because just knock you on your ass.
Oh God, yeah.
So
Hell,
you can
they.
steal that one. Just get yourself some
Yeah.
blazing sauce. I feel like they sell it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they do, because I know they sell a bunch of their other sauces.
For masochists.
Yeah. Hell, I even went to my wife and I. We were up in Minneapolis for the Packers Vikings game on New Year's Eve, and we went to the Mall of America, and they literally had a hot sauce store.
Oh, I want to go.
I bought like a good 6 bottles.
So my wife got me a bunch of hot sauce one year for Christmas. So also this side note, my wife is very sweet. My on my 30th birthday, she had gotten me wings, the spiciest wings from all these different places, and we did like a wing tasting to kind of
Mm.
like suss out what is the spiciest one. And I think we pitted a couple of companies against each other. I don't know if they have any other locations other than DFW, but they're called Wing Bucket. They have a crazy spicy sauce that doesn't even have a name and just a number. Uh,
It's that when
right when
they
it's
only.
like we can't even name this. It should not be named. It's that evil. But yeah, like I said, I've always been a spicy food person. I have so much hot sauce in my pantry right now. My wife will not let me get more hot sauce until we go through it. And I go
Uh,
through hot sauce pretty quick. Like you got it for different stuff, right? You got
oh,
sriracha for breakfast. Got like Valentina for all my other stuff. Sometimes I'll just put a little like hot sauce on my hand. do a little dab that way?
Oh yeah. Whenever growing up, whenever my dad would make chili, he'd make it for everybody, but then I'd take, just a bottle of, I think it was Red Devil, and just that, and well, God, what's the other good one? Damn it,
Louisiana?
that's a good one. Tapatio is another good one.
Mm-hmm.
I know I put that on a lot of shit.
Cholula?
That one. There's a breakfast
Love
place
Cholula.
that we go to frequently, and yeah, I get that with my skillet that I always get. And,
Ooh, you're making me hungry. I'm absolutely getting food after this.
oh yeah, no, I'm definitely doing that myself. But we talked a little bit about some of the places that you go, um, as far as outside of MPX. I know Texas independent wrestling, like, it's definitely one of those hotbeds, because most people will tend to think, West or East Coast, but Texas, I mean, it's literally always been pretty much a hotbed going back to the Von Erich days and everything.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, Dallas has so many promotions and so many wrestlers. And Austin's got a great scene. Houston has an awesome scene. There's so many promotions that run out of like the same building down in Houston. And I've been down there quite a bit for like Premier Wrestling Federation. I'd hope to work New Texas at some point. But yeah, like I've been all over Texas. I've not wrestled in Austin yet. I would love to change that because I've wrestled in San Antonio. I've wrestled in Houston. I've wrestled in Dallas. Not wrestled in Amarillo yet, but I've been all over the state. I've been out of state. I've been up to Colorado. I've been over to Mississippi. I was in Arizona a couple weeks ago. Like I'm all over the place.
That you are. Yeah, I know there's places up here that are trying to get more uh, female representation on their cards. Some places
I
doing
mean,
better.
tell them to look no further. Hit me up.
Oh,
I'm
most
trying to
definitely.
get I'm trying to get to 5 new states this year, and I've already gotten 2. So we're
So,
making good progress.
oh, most definitely. I know I myself actually I stumbled on it because I'm like, you know what? I still got a couple to upload, but I've had getting close to 240 episodes now.
Damn.
And I was like, you know what? I want to see how many states, and hell, even some other countries that I've covered. Like, they might not have been in those countries or states at that time, but they're from there. And I've got
Mm-hmm.
just about half the country, and I've got, well, Bronson Reed, so Australia, so I got that.
Perfect.
And then I've had people from
You've got
Canada,
Missouri
Missouri. I've had,
and Texas.
and Texas. Dude, Lord, Texas, all
I'm sure you've
over.
got plenty of Texas representation.
Oh God, yeah.
There's
East
so many
Coast.
of us.
Oh, that there are. Like, hell, it still reminds me of the meme I saw of, like, one of those road signs where it's like, this town so many miles, and then like some other town on the other side of Texas, and it'd be like tomorrow.
Honestly, like when I drive to Colorado to go up to, I was working up there at Colorado Springs Wrestling. It was 7 hours before I got out of Texas.
Oh
And then the
God.
rest is like a pretty easy trip. But from Dallas, which is in North Texas, takes 7 hours to get out of Texas. That's a
Wow.
problem. The state is
That
too big. Like,
that
honestly, that's how we communicate with each other. Those of us that travel for shows, we're like, how far do you have to drive? Oh, I've got 4 hours. Oh, that's not too bad. 4 hours isn't bad. Uh, Listen, we drive real far for some shows. I
oh,
was in I was in Lubbock, Texas, a couple weeks ago, and that's a 5-hour drive, and we turn and burn that one. So Texas
No,
is big. That's the moral of the story. It's Texas is big. I don't know what else to say.
no, yeah,
It's
okay.
big. It's hot. It's dry. There's a lot of wrestlers up here, down here.
Oh, good. Yeah, like I mean, promotions, MPX, Hot Pro Wrestling. I know I've had a bunch from there. Uh, Reality of Wrestling, Booker T's promotion.
Down there in Houston, absolutely.
There's countless, and see my that dog
I mean,
started.
Mission Pro Wrestling, I work with them
Oh,
quite a bit.
Mission Pro, yeah.
Mission Pro is I believe it was definitely the first, as far as I know, all women's promotion in Texas. And
Say yeah.
I love that fact. I love that women's wrestling gets promoted there, that women's wrestling is taken seriously there, that we're not just kind of a match on the card. Like it's all about women's wrestling. I love working with Mission Pro.
Oh yeah,
I was just there last month at their Sleepless in Seattle show. Not Sleepless in Seattle. It was going to do that. Sleepless in San Antonio.
there we go.
I had Tom Hanks on the brain. Meg
ah,
Ryan. That's who it was. Meg Ryan. Let's be real.
ah,
She's adorable.
oh yeah. Tom Hanks. I always think
You didn't think you were going to talk about Sleepless in Seattle.
I I'm always with Tom Hanks thinking of either Forrest Gump or that movie Captain Phillips, which
He's
Forrest
done
Gump,
a lot.
my favorite movie ever, but Captain Phillips, I actually know people that were on the ships that got sent to save them.
Okay.
That happened while I was in the Navy. Like I had just gotten in.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. So when my parents would ask me how deployment was, and I'm like, well, you want to see something of what it was like? Watch that movie. Because that part about going and, the whole pirating situation is like, yep,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much it. Pretty much.
Huh.
I've got loads of stories there.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen the movie, but I think I know the story that you're talking about.
Oh yeah. No, the movie's pretty damn good though. But anyways, I got two categories here.
Okay.
One's
Am I
one's
picking?
a bit one's a bit of a name game where I try to theme it towards the guest as much as possible. And
Okay.
we've already talked about some of the people that I would have put on this list, so luckily I got some extras to kind of fill in. And with the whole Texas connection, each of these people big out of Texas.
Okay.
First one,
Was that the other category?
the other category, some random questions.
Oh shit. Okay.
But I give you
Oh,
the name.
free.
I I give you the name. You give me quick thoughts on the person. So first one, I literally not all that long ago finally got to watch the movie. And well, we're talking about the Von Erichs.
I knew you were gonna say that. Uh, I haven't got a chance to watch the movie yet either. I need to sit down and actually watch it. Real bad about dual screening, and that's a movie I really want to pay attention to.
That
Um,
is one.
but so I didn't move to Texas until 2016. And I mean, I was a wrestling fan, but I was, as a kid, I was a WWE fan in Missouri. So I'm still learning about the Von Erichs. And while I know it's fairly accurate, I'm interested to kind of like learn more about that family. Because while I know they are wrestling royalty, I don't know the ins and outs of their lives as much, or like, kind of some of the things they've done in wrestling. Yeah. So I feel like I'd have to get back to you after I see the movie.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a pretty good movie. I won't spoil anything for you, but I've seen other documentaries on them. So like my watching wrestling was kind of towards the end of the the run of WCCW, their promotion.
Okay.
So
So like
like
early 90s.
I don't have too many memories of specifics on the promotion itself,
For
but I
sure.
remember Kerry coming up and being the Texas Tornado, and then I
Hell
was
yeah.
like watching him. I'm like, oh my god, this! And then all of a sudden he disappeared. Well, then I find out through watching the documentary that they did on World Class. I was like, oh, that's what happened. Like, and I believe
Oh
that
no.
documentary is on Peacock, and they do
Okay.
in the movie.
I'll look it up.
They do in the movie do a pretty decent job of going along with, like, if you've watched the documentary, you can see
Uh-huh.
little things that's like, well, that wasn't that in the documentary, but like the vast majority of it, besides that, I felt did a pretty good job.
For sure. Yeah, everybody, at least in this area, because Texas roots run deep.
Mm.
That I feel like they may know stuff that some people don't, or stuff like that.
Oh yeah, people that were actually there
Mm-hmm. Oh,
going
you hear
to
all the
shows.
time. I remember when the Von Erichs were at Sportatorium. You hear that all the time from fans.
And well, next up, a guy that actually got his early start at the Sportatorium, and he's probably the only person in wrestling that would legit get me starstruck to where I don't know if I'd be able to get a word out. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
What?
Dude, yeah, that guy's such a badass in real life too. Like I've watched some of his other shows, where like he's just running people through the desert. He's like, all right, I need you to run up this hill, grab this, and do a backflip. I don't know. Whatever Stone Cold says. But man, like talk about a fucking icon. Like, dude, once he shaved his head, started being Stone Cold, it was all over from there, man. Like all you had to hear, like, I'm gonna date myself again. Being a kid growing up with that, like, unreal. I mean, I wasn't really like into or attached to wrestling, but of course I knew of it. How did I not? How could I not know Stone Cold, The Rock, all those guys? I remember my cousin had like a Sting plushie, like one of the ones that
One
you
of those
like beat up.
wrestling buddy things.
Yeah,
Kind of like
yeah,
what
I
I got.
remember.
Kind of like what I got for John Wayne Murdoch right here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know a couple people have those at shows and like for merch and stuff. Um, but yeah, Stone Cold, like the dude did it all. Like he everybody, whether they want to admit it or not, wants to be a Stone Cold.
Oh,
Like
I
that
know.
guy just badass from the gate, like ruthless.
Mm,
Ah, big
yeah,
Stone Cold fan.
like I've literally said, and I joke about it, but a little seriousness. If I were ever able to get him on the podcast, I could never do another interview episode, and I would be fine. Because in
That's the
my
one.
head,
You
I'm
win.
yeah, I'm like, how the hell am I going to top that besides having him on again?
Right. Him and The Rock and The Undertaker and all of them.
Oh God, that like just go ahead
It's
and
just them in a Zoom call.
oh, you know, if I were ever able to manage that, which goddamn, I know definitely, I shouldn't say definitely because who the hell knows, but
Mm,
if that were to happen, it's like that weird looking YouTube plaque that WWE just got for like
for sure.
how many. It's like, just go ahead and ship me one of those. If I get that, interview, yeah, no,
I
just
think that
go
just
ahead and.
makes you the champ.
Oh
Makes
yeah,
you podcast champ.
I like the sound of that.
There's an
Well, you know what?
idea. You're welcome.
Hey, speaking of one of those guys, well, hell, the Undertaker.
listen, from one spooky bitch to another, the Undertaker, idol. Like I hate to say it, icon. This guy's an icon. This guy's an icon. But dude, there's never been anybody like the Undertaker.
Mm,
There's never gonna be anybody like the Undertaker ever again. And I'm fine with that.
mm,
Like the dude for 30 years, like not even just like as a fan, like I like admire him, but like as a worker, I admire him. Like the dude knew how to work. Like he was a leader. He, you know, could go. Like the dude went for 30 years, and like you talk about a guy that's done it all. Uh, but man, like the Undertaker made wrestling real for everybody. You
oh,
know,
oh, good.
like
Yeah.
myself included. Like part of the reason I got into wrestling because around that time we're talking August 2003, right? Coming up on Royal Rumble 2004, my favorite Royal Rumble. Not just for this reason, but that's whenever they tease the Undertaker and the Dead Man coming back, and
Uh,
that's when Kane gets eliminated. Kane's also one of my favorites. Uh, but
right
yeah, like
before WrestleMania
there
20,
was just
wasn't it?
something real. Yeah, that and there's just something really special about the Undertaker, and
Oh yeah.
nobody's ever gonna be able to replicate it.
Oh yeah.
But he inspired so many,
Mm,
and like you still see it today because I mean, whether they want to admit it or not, everybody, every spooky bitch, as as some would put it, uh, is inspired by the Undertaker
oh yeah.
in one way or another
Good Lord, when he was doing the
because he
whole
showed that you could be spooky and scary and still be a badass.
oh yeah. Hell, I remember when he was doing the whole Ministry of Darkness thing. He
Oh,
he legit scared the crap out of me.
it worked.
But it that is the key there. It worked. And you talk about the that Royal Rumble leading into WrestleMania 20. The thing that I little details that I got a kick out of at WrestleMania 20 involving him was when he was coming out, I was noticing it's like he looks like he's got dirt all over his ring gear. And then I'm like, wait a minute. It,
I'd
it,
never
it
noticed that.
it's like he was just coming out of the grave from the dirt because they had that buried alive match where Kane helped Vince bury
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
Undertaker, and then it's like he's rising up. I'm like, oh, when the wheels started turning when I was noticing that, I'm like,
Long
oh,
term storytelling.
yes,
Louder for those in the back.
oh yes, long term storytelling at its finest. Well, dog wanting to take a nap now. All right. We'll move on to the random questions. Some
Let's
might be
go.
related, some might not be, some might have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far.
I'm all about it. Give me the chaos.
So I give you the question, first answer that pops into your head. First one,
Okay.
craziest in match moment for you.
Craziest in match moment. First one that popped in my head was last year at MPX's The Purge. It's a show they do every year. Anything goes. A girl I've wrestled quite a bit since then, Angel Blue. So we had this wonderful idea to German suplex her onto this chair. And that's still one of my favorite and craziest moments was because the listen, I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit. The precision, ah, perfect. Got her. It was great.
Nice.
But yeah,
I know.
that would probably be the craziest because that was real stupid, but we made it work.
Oh yeah. I know. Hell, I've witnessed a few crazy moments. Some here local, a lot at Revolver, including I had a handful of moments from this last show, including like
Oh, they
the
always go above and beyond.
oh god
I already know.
the whole Paul Walterhauser versus Matt Cardona match, and then well, I guess I don't have to worry about spoiler alerts right now. But Bully Ray coming
I
out.
mean, okay. I was like, I haven't gotten a chance. It's
Well,
fine. Go ahead.
I've already posted clips on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, thanks for that. No, I'm just kidding. You're fine.
But and then the flaming table spot, that was nuts. That was the second time I've seen fire at a Revolver show.
It's a good go-to. Fire's real hot right now.
The fire hot.
Feel
But
it there?
the first time was actually with my first ever death match that I got to witness in person. Jake Chris versus Joel Bateman, and it ended with 4 folding chairs, 2 panes of glass, and then they lit the glass on fire.
But why? That's
cool. That's what a lot of people were asking. And then
what? Glass more dangerous when it's hot. Everybody knows that.
Oh yeah. And then pretty much any time you get to witness the guys from the Second Gear crew in a match, it's just craziness. Like, I've literally got to tell each of them in person, it's like, your matches might as well be sponsored by Home Depot.
I love that.
They each got.
You know what? That's an idea.
That is an idea.
It's an idea. Except we're a Lowe's house. Home Depot doesn't like me very much.
But
so I've heard. I have no idea. I've not asked them personally.
Yeah. Matthew Justice was actually saying a few different places. I'm like, yeah, any one of them would fit.
Yeah, there you go. As long as they got hardware and shit to break, it works.
Hardware, doors, all that shit.
Hey, we love a good door spot.
Hell, a no-ring deathmatch show I went to, I didn't realize I entered myself into a raffle, but I apparently won an event used item signed by everybody on the card, and it's half a door.
Hell yeah. That's a great raffle prize. Unwieldy, but that's dope.
Yeah, the first time my wife saw it downstairs, she was like, is that blood on there? And I'm like, yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. The less questions you ask, the better, actually.
That's what I say involving her all the time. That, and whenever whenever my own mother is kind of like giving her those what the fuck moments, I'm like, the less questions, the better.
Yeah.
All right. Now, some of my hobbies back here. I see you got some stuff back there. What some hobbies you have? I'm guessing pointing right towards the stuff behind you there.
You mean like hobbies other than wrestling?
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff outside of shows feels like a hobby because I'm there all the time. But I've always been a gamer. I'm very behind on the current generation of video games, but I always love to catch up on that kind of stuff. I've always been a huge Pokemon fan. So that's hence all the Pokemon plushies back there. Ever since I was a kid, it's just always been something I've really vibed with.
Gotcha.
And plus, they always have new Pokemon come out. It's free dopamine.
Hey.
So those would be, big hobbies for me other than, oh my gosh. Really, other than those things, it's pretty well that in wrestling. Like, it takes up so much of my time that there isn't a whole lot of time. Sleeping is a great hobby of mine, actually.
Oh yeah. It's
I love it every time I get to do it.
Oh yeah. I don't know why I fought naps as a kid so hard. They are the
honestly. You don't have to do anything for a couple hours. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. It's epic. But yeah, so like I told some of the stuff I've growing up, it was pro wrestling and Ninja Turtles for me.
I
So
love that.
I got a whole like speaking of spooky stuff, they got the line from NECA where it's like a mashup between the Universal monsters and Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
I have I'm still looking for Donnie and Raph, but I have Leo, Mikey, well, Donnie and Splinter. Because I have Leo, Mikey, Raph, Casey Jones, and April right now.
Dope.
Yeah. It and hell, I just found Leo, so it's been a never evolving process. But yeah,
I bet.
I've got
Yes, this is
it cut out there. Technical difficulties were back, but yeah, ton of collections. I got that Mall of America trip. Boom, from the Toys R Us.
oh, talk about a throwback.
I'm like, I had to get something. I had to.
Yeah,
And then
you have to. If you're going to Mall of America, that's the mall to shop at.
oh,
Do they have a Hot Topic in there? Do they have
yeah,
2 Hot Topics in there?
I'm sure they probably got a few. I only went to one.
Let's hope so. I don't trust a mall that doesn't have a Hot Topic in it.
Yeah, it's basically why would
There's
you?
something pretentious about that.
Yeah, but yeah, that is about.
I just don't go to those parts of town.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I got Funko Pops. I got.
Yeah, quite the collection.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of proud of my little. I got 2 areas right here for like the only ones I keep out of the box for like people that have passed away. Is like obviously I'm not going to get their autograph on it, but
sure,
you got Macho Warrior.
That's a really sad little shrine, actually.
And then I got the actual figures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of my autographed ones.
Yeah, that's quite a few.
Yeah, I got Swerve and Keith Lee, Jeff Cobb.
Dope.
I got Head Shrinker Fatu back there.
That's a lot of beef to have on that top shelf.
Yeah. Drew McIntyre. I got him too. But yeah.
It's a big old boy.
That he is. Yes. And I don't like buying them already autographed. I like to have the story of bringing it to them and having them sign it and, getting to tell them little stuff. So, yeah.
Uh-huh.
My little hobbies. Now, we are on the heels of another WrestleMania, and I've been trying to ask most of my guests during this time favorite WrestleMania moment or match.
First one that came to mind, we were talking about WrestleMania 20 earlier. It's the best triple threat ever. It's Shawn Michaels, Triple H, name redacted, Chris Benoit. Yeah, it's such a good match, and I hate that there's such a huge dark mark on it now. That's one of my favorite moments.
Oh, most definitely.
I was a huge John Cena fan, so when he won at 21, that was a huge moment for me. What other? I'm trying to think because I sat and I watched all the WrestleManias at the beginning of the pandemic, and they all are kind of running together.
It kind of happens.
I mean, you talk about like your classic ones. Like just first of all, watching that first WrestleMania, it's kind of surreal. Like it's just weird to look back on that time in wrestling and see what's changed since then.
Oh, most yeah.
God,
there's so much to choose from.
Honestly, that's the thing. Give me a WrestleMania, I'll give you the best moment from it.
17. That's one of my favorite ones.
17? Ooh. That would be when Raven almost takes out the entire show.
Yeah.
The hardcore match.
Yeah,
it was Big Show, Kane, and Raven. And like when they're driving a little golf cart, they were like, I guess, inches away from cutting off power to the entire show.
now that you mentioned that, oh my God, I don't know how
That's my favorite moment.
that I don't know
Rock
how that.
Austin. Bah.
I mean, I stone cold guy in me. That was one of the reasons. But god dang, I don't know why that one slipped my mind. Holy crap!
See, because I
Yeah,
knew you were thinking Rock Austin.
yeah.
I knew.
But
Ooh,
yeah.
or Iron Sheik coming down to the ring, and
Was that the
I actually
gimmick battle
the
royal?
gimmick. I like the gimmick battle royal because I just love seeing like all these old weird gimmicks in the ring together.
Oh yeah,
I
that
just
was
love
something.
the Iron Sheik one because honestly, it was always real to the Iron Sheik. That
Oh,
dude kayfabe until he died.
oh yeah. He was definitely a character that I regret never getting to meet. Well,
Yeah, that would be a hell of a story.
between that and these two guys right here,
Oh yeah,
I one these
that would have been
guys,
a rush.
these guys and Stone Cold, the only acts that I mean, to this day yet, have had me the one time I got to actually see them on a show on my feet from the moment they came out through the curtain to the moment they went back. I could not sit down.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, next up, I would feel weird if I didn't have this question in here with a name of a show like I have. Favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic or non, or shit, one of each.
So I don't drink anymore, but
Yeah.
my drink of choice was Angry Orchard with a shot of Fireball in it.
Oh, oh yeah.
Mess you up. Uh, so we take the express lane here.
Oh yeah.
Uh, don't drink anymore, probably for that reason. Um, but like non-alcoholic, because I'm a big sweet tea
Mm,
person. It's a lot of sugar, but I enjoy a peace tea of those things, like the big giant cans they sell at the
yeah.
gas station. They're
Oh yeah.
I don't do a whole lot of like fizzy drinks because I like to drink it fast.
Mm.
So I need something that goes down quickly. Peace tea all the way.
Oh yeah. And I always tell people just because it says drinking at Moe's does not mean it has to be alcoholic. Because I know
For sure.
plenty of
Oh, I've
people
been
out
drinking
there.
water the whole time.
Hey, I mean, I'm a bit of a Dr. Pepper fiend. That's just me.
I thought I spotted that Diet Dr.
Yeah,
Pepper.
my wife made me switch to diet.
Hey,
Although
they
I
say it's
still
better for you, I guess.
I guess I don't understand it, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. As long as I'm not having to just cut it out completely, I'm fine. That's just me. All
I
right.
can quit anytime I want.
I do it, Emma. God dang it! Now I got South Park in my brain.
Damn it.
You kidding? All right. Well, now that before I get on too many random tangents here, because Lord knows I've done that enough.
Mm.
We talked a lot about road trips and the long travels. What is something you have on like playlist that you like to listen to while you're on the long travels?
Oh man. If I'm by myself, I usually have some sort of playlist on. I use my Spotify DJ a lot. System of a Down is always on.
Mm,
It always comes up on my DJ. A lot of like the 90s grunge, like that's always near and dear to my heart.
yeah.
Uh every time Nirvana comes up, I feel guilty if I skip it. So I've always been that kind of person. But if I'm in the car by myself, it's usually some alternative metal rock of some kind. Uh, and probably a song I've heard 1,000 times. It's usually the same rotation of the same like 200 songs that I've heard a billion times in my life and can
Yeah.
sing the solos to. But that just makes it that much better. I already know the words.
Oh yeah. And I well hell, I got a song that I've definitely been listening to quite a bit lately because it just gets me amped up every time I hear it. And I always joke with friends of mine that are wrestling out in Southern California. It's like, if I ever come back and get to be in like part of a show, if I get entrance music, it's going to be this because
I've got one of those playlists.
it's Soundgarden's been away for too long.
Okay. I don't know that song particularly, but I can only imagine. Chris Cornell is one of the few men I've ever been attracted to.
Yeah, and that song right there, it just fits perfect because I haven't been to SoCal in a while, so it would just fit, getting to come back
Yeah.
and be a part of a show. And every time that, like, I have a couple playlists, and that song always happens to be on just about every one of them.
I love that. What is the one Soundgarden song that I like? Blow Up the Outside. That's the one I like.
I might need to
It's
go look.
the Nothing seems to kill me, no
Oh,
matter how hard I try. That song.
okay. I know I've heard it, but I'm gonna have to go look it up.
Ah, Chris Cornell at his finest, his screamy vocal finest.
Oh, dude, yeah, he had one of those voices for sure.
So much
Yeah,
so he had to get surgery.
I know,
He
right?
tore up his vocal cords.
Man, you're going hard at it when you have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing it for like decades, you know?
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I had one in my head, but then I started having a brain fart moment here. Ah,
You got it.
I got it. I got it now. I talked about some of my favorite movies. Favorite movie of yours?
My favorite movie? Wayne's World.
Ah,
I, it's such a classic. It's so ridiculous. It's so over the top. If I have a friend that, like, I have it on DVD because, of course, I do. If I have a friend that's never seen it, that's like a prerequisite to being like friends or being in my circle. You have to have watched this movie and you have to have watched the second one because, I mean, the second one is also a classic. I mean,
yeah,
come on, they're a double header. You got to watch both of them.
it's
So yeah,
definitely.
those are my two.
Oh yeah, no classics, definitely. The second one, yeah, the first one's better in my opinion, but the second one is about as close as it comes to being at least equal to an original.
Yeah.
But that don't happen very often. Not
No,
very.
like yeah, they didn't try and rehash the first movie. So yeah, if a sequel can do a creative new way to do the first movie, that's awesome. Like that's a win in my book. They're very, like you said, very few sequels that can do that.
Oh yeah, the only one that I can think of that for me is any that I honestly think better than the original. Some people think the first, but those first two Ninja Turtles movies, The Secret of the
Oh,
Ooze.
yeah, the classic ones, yeah.
Secret of the Ooze, my all-time favorite out of any of them made.
I'm sure I watched them when I was younger. I've not watched them as an adult. I'm sorry to disappoint.
Yeah,
I've got to go
no,
back and watch them. I
hell,
liked the new Ninja Turtles movie. What'd you think of
that
that one?
that was pretty good. Like I like to think,
That one was real
having
good.
oh yeah, for me having been um raised on the original cartoon, but knowing bits about the comic book start, it seemed like there was something for just about wherever you got your start watching Ninja Turtles or paying attention to Ninja Turtles, there was something for everybody.
I don't like what they did to my boys Bebop and Rocksteady though. They did them
Yeah.
dirty. They made them look like little wimpy butts, and I don't
Yeah.
like that.
Although, hell, try to dig this out here if I can.
Because I don't know
Hey,
if you can tell, I'm kind of like an amalgamation of bebop and rocksteady. You know, got the nose ring, I've got the mohawk. I'm halfway there.
I can't dig this out right now because my having issues, but I actually have the comic book that the first appearance of Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady.
Dope. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I don't have too many comics that I've kept. That has been one.
That is really cool.
And one of my signed Funko Pops up with my Ninja Turtle stuff is actually Kevin Clash, the guy behind Splinter from the first two movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he had that line, "Oh, I made a funny." He actually wrote.
Again.
He actually, yeah. Go back and watch it. I recommend it. But he actually wrote that on the Funko Pop. He was like, "You want me to write that?" I'm like, yeah. All right, one.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it was a fun time. Anyways, last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
Do it. Well, don't do it, but do it. Do it if
Hmm?
you want. If you
Yeah,
if you want to wrestle, nobody is stopping you. There is nothing limiting you. It's just your own uh drive, your own kind of hunger for
mm,
something like that. I will say the best advice is like once you get bit, you're bit like by the wrestling bug. So tread carefully because you know it. Once you start, it's very hard to stop. It's like Legion of Doom said. It was what a rush, right?
yeah.
So yeah, that would be my advice. First of all, don't do it. Second of all, do it. Uh, and yeah, and just have fun. It's
Mm.
meant to be fun.
Oh
So
yeah,
that would be my advice for sure.
most definitely. And yeah, like kind of reminds me of when people would ask me about enlisting. It's like, well, if it's something you really want to do, make sure one it's 100% what you want to do, like you don't have no doubt, and then also don't let yourself talk yourself out of it. If it's
Right.
indeed what you want, go do it. Kind of along the lines of what you said with wrestling, because then if you let yourself talk, if you think about it too long, you're just going to talk yourself out of it.
For sure. There
Yeah.
will always be a reason not to.
Yep. And then you'll always be wondering what if.
And then you die.
Yep. Pretty much. I wasn't going to go that far, but yes.
Hey, it's just a fact of life.
Oh yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's everybody has their time, and they never.
It's true.
Nobody knows when that's coming. That, especially in the wrestling world, has been plainly obvious the last couple of years.
Oh, see, now it's real. Now it's hitting me in the heart. I was just jokingly joking about death, like joke about death and being sad and stuff, Scott
Oh
Pilgrim
yeah,
style.
no, that's one of those things that helps a lot of people through it. You
Yeah,
know, get,
exactly.
getting your getting your laughs to kind of get your mind off of everything. And hell, that's
Absolutely.
one of the things that's the one of the beauties of wrestling. Somebody in that crowd could have been before the show having an absolute shit day, but then they go spend their time at whatever show it might be, and for even that little bit of time that they are there, they don't have to think about anything outside of those
That's
doors.
right. Absolutely.
Well, before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
So Instagram's probably the big one. Morgan of Mercy. I'm gonna find who has Morgan Mercy, and we're gonna resolve that matter. So yeah, Instagram Morgan of Mercy. TikTok it's Morgan.Mercy. Uh, you can find me on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. Morgan underscore Mercy underscore. Uh, And the best part is, if you just remember one of those, I link it to everything else. So come find me on various social medias. If you see me at a show, come say hi. Tell me you listen to this podcast, and we'll take a picture. We'll be
Yes.
metal about it, but you do have to stick your tongue out with me. That is the rule.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've had a few of those with Bronson Reed and that pose he has with his arm out like
The
that.
big old bear claw. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do that with him, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look funny next to you doing that, but hey, if that's your thing and you need me to do it too,
I'll do it for the picture.
yes, I'll do it for the picture. Just don't kill me. Anyways, that is about all I have. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight, and best of luck out there everywhere in Texas and beyond, because I know you travel.
Man, all over the place. So yeah, thanks for having me. This was a blast. I look forward to listening back to it and
No, most
checking it
definitely.
out.
Definitely.